629 News Radio 1120 KPNW. Some fog out there to contend with. Just get through it, and you have a beautiful day. Rest of it from about 11:30 on is going to be gorgeous. Eventual sunshine, rain heavy tomorrow. So just be ready. 46 degrees. Take your best shot. Going on right now, right this second. We kicked in on October 31st, where you can get daily prizes for your photo that you submit with your 2016 tag of your favorite trophy. You got a form to fill out between now and November 10th. Of course, the grand prize coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be nice.
Remington 783 from Oak Grove.
Yeah, and your choice of caliber. So you can decide what caliber you want, which is kind of cool. Just go to KPNW.com. You're going to see the banner there, and it's really easy to do. You just fill out the information, and you'll see where you can upload the photograph from your computer. Just make sure that you get that along to us, and by golly, you're going to be in it. I think I just was looking this morning, and who was it? Tom Chase was just sent one in last night, it looks like. So anyway, get them into us. All you have to do, like we said, is just go online, kpnw.com, and you'll find the space there. It's easy to do, and you could be winning a brand spanking new Remington 783, your choice of caliber. Of course, you got to be 18 or over.
What would be your recommendation on the caliber? Like 11 and a half?
Yeah, that would be good.
Probably. Is that enough, you think? I mean,
yeah.
Or would you go 13?
Yeah, the 11 would be good. Rob over here, done a lot of hunting in his life.
Don't discriminate.
Probably a 30-06 would be my preference, but
wow.
Yeah, an 11 caliber would be smaller than a BB.
Gives you something to start with. Maybe it's a first. Maybe it's a jump off.
That would be smaller than a BB. That would be like something that you would hunt bugs with. You can go out.
Think about what a great shot you would be.
You could go out and hunt beetles with an 11 caliber.
See,
it would be nice.
Everything has a purpose.
Yes.
I was trying to find the article. I found it earlier today, and I kind of perused through it, and then it started to bug me. So I went back to try to find it, and now I can't find it. So I'm looking at another kind of a paraphrase article of it, and it's talking about how at the age of 50, I love all these parameters that people, and it's people with nothing else to write about, putting parameters on society. And so what they're saying at the age of 53, you should stop wearing jeans at the age of 53.
Oh, bite me.
And I just started thinking like, oh, so basically they want to have everybody in this little box and where you stop,
at the age of 53 too, if you're a guy, you need to start wearing your pants up underneath your armpits. That's another thing that you need to start doing. Unless you have a lot of weight. I mean, if you're carrying a lot of weight, then what you need to do is wear them a lot. You need to wear them a lot.
Why are you looking at me?
Well, who am I supposed to make eye contact with in the
studio?
You
hardly ever make eye contact with me, though.
I make eye contact with
you. Talk about somebody who's got little weight problem, you look at me.
Yeah, and if you're carrying a lot of weight, then you go the opposite direction. Because the truth in life is that when women gain weight, they buy bigger pants. When men gain weight, they just wear them lower.
What was Obama got just raked for? Was it? Did they call it mom jeans? Or the jeans that he wore one time, and people were just like, "How do you wear those jeans in public?"
I don't know.
Remember what I'm talking about?
If I recall correctly, wasn't it the same photograph where he was wearing the dorky bicycle helmet? And you just look at him and go, "God, this is the president."
Maybe. Anyway. We salute you. If you are 54, 58, 75 years old and you're wearing jeans, we salute you today. Go on with your bad self. I hate, somebody was telling me, I have a neighbor who is 58 years old, and he likes to wear his hat backwards. And he constantly has people come up and tell him, your IQ points detract by about half when you wear your hat like that. And he always has like a flippant, comment, a reaction. You know what? If it makes you happy,
Did you suggest to him that every time he opens his mouth, the same thing happens to him?
to the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't there. So.
Oh, I found the photograph of not only Obama's mom jeans, but also the dorky bike helmet.
And it's one and the same?
Yeah.
Same picture?
Yes. It's pretty horrific. Rob is looking right now.
Not a bad helmet.
Oh, it is too. He looks like a dork. He looks like a goof. And not
It's
only
the same
that,
helmet I have.
and not only that, he's riding on the sidewalk. What? You don't ride a bicycle on the sidewalk.
All right. There's a lot of things you could criticize him for. I'm not going to go that
look,
route.
here he's riding a bicycle that has training wheels.
Yeah, he's 8.
No. Look, it has training wheels. I've never seen this photograph before. Look at that. It's got training wheels on it.
Okay, I don't think anybody can.
There is
argue
no
with that
defense for that.
No.
The President of the United States riding a bike with training wheels? Wow.
How do you do that knowing that you're going to get photographed?
I have no idea. And he's wearing mom jeans. But,
No offense against
mom
mom
jeans.
jeans.
Yeah, if you're a mom and wearing mom jeans, that's okay. Well, and here's another one. The guy knows nothing about bicycles.
Get him out of office.
Here is another one. It looks, I could be wrong on this one. It looks like his back tire is flat.
Oh, jeez.
It's like our president is bicycle challenged. He just, wow.
And I'll throw the Secret Service under the bus because they need to.
Yeah, they need to check his tire
pressure. Need to help
pressure.
him on that one.
They need to check his. Well, it could be that the Secret Service said, "Mr. President, you look really ungainly on that bicycle.
Look.
How about if we put training wheels on it?"
Hey.
Oh, okay.
Hey, when you are so busy running this country and out campaigning for
Hillary,
Hillary,
on
you don't have time
dollars.
to think about things like this.
Absolutely. I wonder how much taxpayers are paying for him
the time.
Yeah, to fly around the country to campaign for Hillary. And I'm sure they'll say, oh, no, well, that's being paid for by Hillary's campaign. Yeah, okay, last I heard, Air Force One was actually paid for by the American taxpayers, and the Secret Service is paid for by American taxpayers as he goes around. And I'm sure that maybe they're putting him up in a motel and giving him certificates to Mickey D's, but...
Did you hear his comment about how if Trump becomes president, he's not going to change? How many people out there had the immediate reaction to where if she gets elected, she won't change? And what you see now will be magnified by 10, 15, 20,000%. All right, we got a break.
Actually, instead of voting this year, you're not a voter, you're an enabler. Just consider that.
More fog out there. That's the issue of the day. Hopefully, there's nothing to talk about except for a little bit of fog out there. 2, sunshine. A beautiful Friday afternoon. That's what we have. That's the carrot at the end of the stick. 11:20 KPNW.
Midgley's makes it easy to stay green with your next stove or fireplace insert. Blaze King features wood stoves that can burn up to 40 hours while effectively heating 1,500 to 3,000 square feet. Their reduction in emissions helps protect the environment. Midgley's is your exclusive Lane County Blaze King dealer. Check us out online at midgleys.com. We're at the corner of 7th and Chambers in Eugene. Midgley's. Anywhere else and you're just playing with fire. CCB 161946.
Coastal Farm and Ranch. We're just what the country needs.
This week is the outerwear extravaganza at Coastal's November savings event. Full blue line jeans are just $17.99. All Burn men's and ladies outerwear vests are $15 off. Kids Burn is $10 off. Select Carhartt outerwear for men and women is 40% off. Also, black Detroit duck jackets from Carhartt are just $69.99 and include free embroidery. See store for details. You'll find great prices in every aisle of the store. Boots, fencing, livestock and pets, outdoor power, even stoves. Save over $1,000 on a Quadrifire gas fireplace insert package, plus get a free vent kit. Now through Saturday is Coastal's November savings event. Since 1963 and just what the country needs.
Coastal Farm and Ranch. We're just what the country needs.
Locally in Albany, Eugene, and Roseburg.
We know Kathy Lamberg. She's been part of our community for over 50 years. The mother of 2 Iraq War veterans, Kathy Lamberg wants to improve services for veterans, including access to health care. A local educator, Kathy Lamberg, will work to ensure that every child receives the education they deserve, regardless of where they live. Vote for the leader we know and trust to represent us. Vote Kathy Lamberg for state representative.
Hi, I'm Kathy Lambert. I'd be honored to represent you in Salem. Together we can improve Oregon's schools and grow our economy.
You're unique, so why is your mattress one size fits all? Because a custom mattress costs thousands, until now. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of HelixSleep.com, where you can buy a mattress online, customized for you, for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to HelixSleep.com, answer a few simple questions, and we build you the most comfortable mattress you'll ever sleep on. Shipping is free, and you have 100 nights to try it out. Go to HelixSleep.com/go and get $50 off your order. HelixSleep.com/go.
In my line of work, I'm trying to make a difference. Not $1 billion, but I want to save for the future, too. So this year, I partnered with TIAA to help me map out a plan. If I stick to it, I could have an income stream for life and maintain my lifestyle in retirement. Looks like a life of rewarding work could pay off for a lifetime.
Your personal success takes a financial partner who values it as much as you do. Learn more at TIAA.org.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. I'm tracking patchy dense fog off and on out there. I expect visibilities in some locations down to about 1/4 of a mile, but it's not a non-stop fog bank. You'll go through it, then you'll go into a clearing, then you'll hit another one off and on during your commute. Otherwise, we've got partly cloudy skies. Temps right now are in the low to upper 40s. Light winds out of the northeast at 5 to 10. This afternoon, high pressure will dominate across the region. Once the fog burns off by 11 a.m., mostly sunny skies. The winds will shift to the south at 5 to 10 with gusts up to 15, and we will see highs in the mid to upper 60s, 65 here in town. Make sure you take advantage of the sunshine this afternoon as we've got a slow-moving cold front set to move in for your Saturday, bringing moderate to heavy showers, and it's going to take the front so long to get past us. I expect the rain to be fairly steady throughout the day and into the evening Saturday, but it'll start to taper off Saturday night as the cold front pulls away into the Cascades. We will see some clouds on Sunday, but it looks to be fairly dry. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day. You can enjoy the sunshine this afternoon.
Separating news from noise. It's the Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. Well, of course, as we get ready to vote, or as I like to call it, enable on Tuesday, the big news continues to be the FBI and the investigation into Hillary Clinton and emails and the Clinton Foundation and et cetera. Let's talk a little bit about that this morning with Jesse Burns. I'm sorry, Jesse. Jesse Burns, he is a staff writer for The Hill. He's been on the Wake Up Call a number of times, and he joins us once again. So, Jesse, what's the latest? Jesse?
Well, we're just 4 days out from the election, obviously, now, and tensions are still kind of very high with both campaigns. Democrats are fuming that the FBI, within 2 weeks of the election, now just a few days out, have commented on new emails regarding Hillary Clinton's private email server. We know that the FBI doesn't really have a real grasp yet of exactly what is in those emails. Some are new, at least, but we don't know how significant they are, and if they're going to come close to changing the FBI's conclusion not to recommend any kind of criminal charges over the mishandling of classified information. But the fact that this has all come out within 2 weeks of the election something that has both parties, especially Democrats, very much on edge and very much engaged in the FBI.
Engaged in the FBI, engaged in basically attacking the FBI and Comey, right? Is that what you're getting at?
Democrats, well, even Republicans have kind of now are forced into a position of trying to explain how, this traditionally independent agency, why it's, commenting on an investigation. So we've seen Republicans, wanting hearings and wanting more information from the FBI about what's actually in these emails, because it, puts the Bureau in a difficult spot, especially when one party is going after it hard and accusing it of being of having a political motivation.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I mean, if they would have said nothing and the election were held and they come out and say, oh, look what we found about Hillary, they would be attacked by the Republicans for holding back on information that, should have been potentially released before the election.
Yeah, no, that's definitely right, and we've seen reports that Comey, James Comey, the FBI director, felt obligated to update Congress and to let them know that there were new emails out there. I think a big criticism that he has faced and the backlash that he has faced in the past week since he has sent that letter has been the manner in which he updated Congress. We've even seen Tim Kaine, Clinton's running mate, come out and defend Comey, saying he's not politically motivated, but questioning, his judgment in releasing a very kind of vague 3-paragraph letter to Congress about this new batch of emails that they're reviewing. So there's definitely some scrutiny over kind of the manner in which he's kind of carried out this update.
What about the investigation, though, into the Clinton Foundation? I mean, which... Obviously, the email to Congress is the one that got the attention, but there's been quite a bit of, I wouldn't say quite a bit of information, but a lot of information kind of dribbling out about the investigation into the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of conflicting reports on this. We've seen, Fox News and others have reported that the FBI is close to an indictment. Other, news outlets, ABC, NBC, have come out and essentially said that's not the case, citing their own, sources within the Bureau. It doesn't seem like, there's just so much conflicting information at this point. It doesn't seem like we'll see any kind of substantive announcement before the election. But as far as actually what's going on within the Bureau and within the FBI, is also within the Department of Justice, which is, would be carrying out those any kind of prosecution if there's some. It doesn't seem like anyone is on the same page, and so I think that's kind of evident in the conflicting reports that we're seeing out of it.
Well, you talked about, the different news organizations. What about the Hill? I mean, what has your staff, obviously looking at this, what is your staff saying?
Well, what we're seeing is not, we don't have any indication that federal investigators are actually pursuing a case against the Clinton Foundation. We know, in previous months that it's been under review, and it's certainly been the subject of inquiry. But as far as actual substantive action, we don't have any indication that that's the case. And so, just a few days from the election, we wouldn't expect that to change. But I think that review, obviously separate from the FBI's investigation and new review of these new emails regarding Clinton, it's putting the FBI and it's putting these investigators in the spotlight, and it's kind of turning two traditionally independent branches, agencies here, putting a big scrutiny on them in such a very bitter election season.
So, Jesse, what's kind of the word on the street in the back alleys here? Is there going to be another FBI report of some sort before the election, or at least a statement regarding these extra emails, the new emails that were found in the Anthony Weiner investigation?
Yeah, I think we'll see some type of conclusive statement or indication of exactly what these emails show we at least know that there are some new emails in this new batch, and there are hundreds of thousands that they're reviewing, and so there are some new emails that weren't turned over to investigators as part of their actual investigation into Clinton's private email server. But as far as their significance and what that's going to show, I think it's going to take weeks, if not months, to actually reach any kind of conclusion there. And obviously that's going to be after the election. As far as how they announce that, whether it's the FBI director himself or someone lower, that remains to be seen.
All right. Jesse, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Jesse Burns, staff writer for The Hill on News Radio, 1120 KPNW. And don't forget to enable, on Tuesday. That's what I'm calling it now. We're not voting, we're enabling. What? You had a big grin on your face.
I had no expression on my face whatsoever.
Yeah, you did. You had a big
I was reacting towards
Jesse?
His cardboard-like personality.
Oh, Jesse, come on.
Little stiff.
Nah, he's a poker player.
Little stiff. 6:50, 10 away from 7 o'clock. We'll just reiterate, just in case you're going to be behind the wheel upon your travels, you'll find, where is it? Little pea soup out there. So just be careful and let us know if there's anything else that bears a chat about. 541-485-KPNW. Next hour, going to check in with Johnny Cruz, find out what's going on outdoors-wise. I think there's going to be some outdoor activity with the weather today. I think even tomorrow, if you're not a rain wuss. You don't mind getting a little wet, which can be fun. A little puddle stomping? Absolutely. John Cruz and indoor activity. How about Radio Redux? We got tickets for that as well coming up. Alice kicking in with the opening night tonight, 7:30, and a matinee on Sunday. If you want to go, keep it here. We got tickets coming up.
It's easy to understand why Measure 97's tax on sales would increase costs for Oregon families.
97 is not a tax on business profits. It's a tax on sales, and it would impose a new state tax on sales of all types of essential goods and services.
97 would tax sales of electricity and natural gas, increasing our utility bills.
It would increase the cost of driving by taxing sales of gasoline, cars, and trucks.
97 would tax sales of phone, internet, and cable TV services.
It would even tax sales of food, medicine, and health care.
The state of Oregon's own nonpartisan study found that 97 would cost a typical Oregon household $600 per year.
That would especially hurt seniors on fixed incomes and low-income families who can least afford it.
And there's no guarantee how our money from this tax would be spent. The politicians could spend it however they choose.
To stop this deceptive and costly tax on sales, vote no on 97.
Paid for by Defeat the Tax on Oregon Sales.
Touchdown, Oregon! Precision counts, whether it's a big game on the line or your quality of life.
I had excruciating pain in my cheek and jaw, a condition called trigeminal neuralgia. My doctor recommended Sacred Heart Gamma Knife Center.
The physicians used highly focused, precise radiation beams to target the nerve. Game over for Mary's pain in just a few weeks. If you have a brain tumor or episodes of severe facial pain, ask your primary doctor or specialist about Gamma Knife. Visit peacehealth.org/Gamma Knife to learn more.
The Veterinary Hospital is Eugene, Oregon's premier pet hospital. Open 7 days a week, our fully licensed and AHA-accredited team offer the latest in therapeutic laser technology to promote healing and pain management for your pet. The Veterinary Hospital. We care about pets and their people, too.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. That politics is inhabited by some outright liars is not news. However, more dangerous than lies to those who are not informed is truthiness. Truthiness, according to the online encyclopedia, Wikipedia, is when someone characterizes something as true while making an argument. Someone who claims to know that it's true because it just feels right, without regard to any evidence, logic, intellectual examination, or the facts. Truthiness was coined by the comedian Stephen Colbert in 2005 and is at the heart of many political arguments and assertions that, while not necessarily outright lies, are deceptive nonetheless. They're often made by those who claim some authority while trying to gain or hold power. Occupy Wall Street spouted truthiness, attacking those with outsized incomes as it sought to pit most of the rest of us against the entrenched power structure. Here's the nugget. The 1% has become the poster child for incomes that are distributed unevenly across the population. And while in a strict mathematical sense a 1% does exist, it's become a lightning rod of truthiness for the problems of inequality, thereby obscuring the real truth in a very manipulative sort of way and causing us to turn on one another instead of addressing our problems. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes or you're already out and about, I am tracking patchy dense fog off and on out there, and I expect that to burn off by about 11 a.m. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies. Temps right now on the chilly side in the low to upper 40s. Winds northeast at 5 to 10. This afternoon, high pressure will bring us an absolutely perfect day with mostly sunny skies. Highs will be climbing into the mid to upper 60s with 65 here in town. Winds will shift back to the south at 5 to 10, gusts up to 15. But this fantastic weather won't last long as a slow-moving cold front will bring moderate to heavy showers most of the day Saturday before it starts to clear out Saturday night. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day and can enjoy the sunshine this afternoon.
Hey, hon, do me a favor and hold the ladder for me.
I have a better idea. Let's just call somebody to clean the gutters.
To scoop out a few leaves? Come on, I'll be down in a heartbeat.
No!
Using a ladder might seem easy. Misusing one is even easier. For tips on ladder safety, visit orthoinfo.org, a public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, who want to keep your bones safe, strong, and well-connected.
This is your wake-up call.
It's like no cheese I've ever tasted.
News Radio 1120, KPNW.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. I feel like I'm choking.
Prevent your child's next asthma attack. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor, because even one attack is one too many.
I feel like a fish with no water.
Brought to you by the EPA and the Ad Council.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are slipping a bit here this morning as investors assess the latest jobs report and look ahead to the election. The Dow is down 31 points at 17,898. The S&P 500 is lower by a point at 2087, and the Nasdaq is down 11 at 5046. Crude oil is down this morning 1.3% at $44.07 a barrel. Shares of GoPro are down 15%, almost 16%, after the wearable camera maker gave a bleak holiday forecast. Starbucks is higher, up about 1.3% after the company beat estimates in the latest quarter, thanks in part to some new food efforts on the menu. The Labor Department said that 161,000 U.S. jobs were created in October. That was less than the estimated 173,000. Wages rose more than estimated, and the jobless rate slipped to 4.9%. And Walmart says it will seek to double sales of locally grown produce in the U.S. and plans to source half of its energy from renewable sources by 2025. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
You know, folks, this is my question of this election. What has she accomplished? Hillary Clinton's been on the national stage since Watergate, yet most people, even those closest to her, cannot answer that question. This week, Hillary took a stab at it herself. She listed her titles: First Lady, Senator from New York, Secretary of State, Mother, Grandmother, and she reminded everyone that she's been a woman all her life, as if there were some question about it. But listing her positions and her gender don't answer the question, what has Hillary Clinton accomplished? There is an answer to the question, but it will not help her. Hillary Clinton has been embroiled in more scandals than any public figure you can name except her husband. She is the most cheated on woman in America. Just listing her scandals would take more time than I have here. Whitewater, White House Travel Office, billing records, selling the Lincoln bedroom, running the bimbo eruptions team, intimidating women who accused her husband of unwanted sexual attention, the Clinton Foundation's pay-for-play bribery schemes, the homebrew mail server, Benghazi, selling our national security. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Deceit, bribery, blackmail, money, power, everything revolves around her core lawlessness. That's her single accomplishment as the queen of corruption. The sleaze that surrounds Hillary Clinton has made her very, very rich at our expense. That's about all she's really accomplished. Folks, these days it's hard to find anything made in the USA, and that's why I am so thrilled that my friends at Mahindra make their Impact utility vehicles right here in the United States. With that level of quality, it should come as no surprise that the Mahindra Impact delivers industry-leading hauling, towing, and ground clearance. It's perfect for all of you hunters and landowners out there. Plus, each Impact is backed by a 3-year powertrain warranty. No wonder 9 out of 10 owners love their Impact. And listen to this. For a limited time, you can take your pick of 0% financing or up to $1,500 cash back. Check out the Mahindra Impact, the toughest utility vehicles on earth at MahindraUSA.com.
Take advantage of rock-bottom prices and test drive a Mahindra today at All Seasons Equipment in Eugene. Or visit
Depend on us for breaking news from the local neighborhood to the global one. We are News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. There was less hiring in America last month, but the unemployment rate also dropped in the last big economic report before the election. Fox Business Network's Nicole Petalides has the numbers and reaction live from Wall Street.
That's right, Dave. For the month of October, we saw 161,000 non-farm payroll jobs added here in the United States. That was a slight miss from the estimates of 175,000. We did see the unemployment rate tick down to 4.9% from 5%. The good news is that we did add some jobs in August and September, some revisions there, so plus 44,000 there. The reaction on Wall Street somewhat muted. The Dow Jones Industrial Average right now down 24 points at 17,906. The Nasdaq down 7. The S&P down 1. The Nasdaq and the S&P are each down 9 days in a row. We haven't seen that since the 1980s. I will say wage growth has been the strongest since 2009, and that was one good part of the report.
Thank you, Nicole. This is just breaking the last few minutes. 2 Americans have been killed in Jordan. Fox's Jessica Gallagher live in our Middle East Bureau.
Dave, 2 American trainers are dead and another wounded after an exchange of fire outside a Southern Army base. A Jordanian military officer was also wounded. Jordan's official news agency is quoting a military source as saying the gunfire happened after an instructor's car tried to enter the gate of a military base in Jaffa South. Dave.
Jessica, with only 4 days to go, expect more attacks on the campaign trail.
I have a winning temperament. Hillary is an unstable person.
He knows we can see and hear him, right?
They were both in North Carolina.
Loud to himself. Stay on point, Donald. Stay on point.
Trump and Clinton will both be in Pennsylvania and Ohio today. She'll also be in Michigan. He'll start his day in New Hampshire. Is anyone working in Chicago? Fans have flocked to the city where the river's been dyed blue for a Cubs World Series victory celebration. The team will start at Wrigley Field in 1 hour with a parade, then a huge rally. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
There was a time when our biggest export on the South Coast was our people. Mills were closing, ports were quiet, jobs were scarce. Katie McEwen rolled up her sleeves and worked with her neighbors to make things better. On the school board, Katie worked to balance budgets fairly and make sure our kids got a quality education. On the Port Commission, Katie McEwen helped lead efforts to rebuild our infrastructure, like the Coos Bay Rail Line, so we could develop our economy. Thanks in large part to Katie McEwen's leadership, 1.5 million tons of cargo move through the port every year. And we're adding new high-wage marine jobs that can support a family. In the State House, Katie McEwen keeps leading, investing in job training programs, helping create the Oregon Promise to make community college free for deserving students, and standing up for seniors with tougher laws to crack down on fraud and abuse. State Representative Katie McEwen, she's always working for us.
Paid for by Katie McEwen for Representative.
Today's the day the Paris Agreement becomes international law on climate change. Fox's Simon Owen live in our European Bureau.
Dave, it's almost a year since the UN's Paris Accord was agreed by 195 countries, but it only enters into force today. UN spokesman Stéphane Dujarric praising US leadership in the process.
We hope that whoever occupies the White House in 2017 will continue that leadership role
for the United States. Donald Trump has said he would cancel the deal. The agreement revolves around a pledge to limit global warming to less than 2 degrees Celsius, or about 3.6 Fahrenheit, compared with temperatures before the Industrial Revolution. Experts say right now that's looking like a tough task. Dave?
Simon, the price of oil is falling yet again today, nearly $1, back below $44 a barrel, but gas has risen. AAA's national average up over $2.22 a gallon. Of course, Tesla cars don't need gas, but the automaker is under scrutiny again over a crash.
A deadly crash involving a Tesla electric car in downtown Indianapolis yesterday. Both the driver and a passenger were killed. The automaker says it's unlikely that its semi-autonomous autopilot system was active during the accident. Witness Al Fino says the electric car was speeding.
When I crossed Illinois Street here, this car just pummeled past me at high, erratically weaving and hit that tree and like it flipped. The next thing I know, exploded and big ball of fire.
This accident follows a fatal crash involving a Tesla car in Florida in May. In that incident, the car was on the autopilot system when it slammed into a semi-truck. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
The power's back on at the Paris Resort in Las Vegas after a complete power outage prompted an overnight evacuation. Guests were put up at the Caesars and other properties. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
News Radio 1120 KPNW 705. Foggy fog and then some more fog. But then you get through that pristine day, gorgeous day. Sunny, fantastic. Spent yesterday on the Oregon campus with our Step the Bus campaign for Food for Lane County and Toys for Tots. And it was just fall. You can't beat it. You get some sun out there and a little bit of cool weather. Sunset was gorgeous. By the way, as we talk about that, Step the Bus Day 2 going to be at the Olympic Springfield Walmart today, looking for new unwrapped toys and non-perishable food items, spices, pickles, anything that has some lasting power on the shelves, helping out Food for Lane County. If you can stop by, and then Val and myself will be out at the Delta. What do you want to call it? Delta Beltline Walmart up the Delta Highway. We'll be out there after 2 o'clock from 2 to 8 today, day 2. Oh, yeah. Coming up, we got tickets for Alice Radio Redux. It is radio theater on the stage at the Holt Center. We'll be doing that at the Star.
She was
Jane
awesome.
Brinkley in. High school freshman. Kind of hard to believe. As she walks out, you're like, really? He's a 9th grader? She has more charisma and more backbone and more stuff going on than most of the adults we have coming in here. But anyway, she's going to be the star starting tonight, 7:30, a matinee. You get tickets. You can go to either show, whichever one you prefer.
Shake it up.
That'll be about 7:25, and then Johnny Cruz coming up. Don't sing, please.
Shake it up.
Especially that voice.
Why?
Because I don't.
It creeps you out. This song makes me want to dance like Patty from the original Charlie Brown specials. Not Peppermint Patty. It was the other Patty, the one with the dark hair that looked kind of like a taller version of Lucy.
Glasses?
No. Not
freckles.
No, she didn't have freckles. She was the tall version of Lucy.
Why does it make you want to dance?
Because I don't know. You have to remember. You have to go back to the dance scene in the Charlie Brown Christmas special, and the way that she was dancing, the way she would kind of do this thing with her head and kind of this shuffle thing with her feet. It was awesome. She was my favorite of the dancers.
We need that random lighter. Random radio.
No, I really love the Patty from the original. The kind of bobbing head and shuffling feet thing.
All right, on that note, we'll give him a chance to splash some water on his face, and he'll get into the news department, News Cave, and produce something wonderful for you. It's coming up on 1120 KPNW 708.
The days are shorter, the weather is gloomy, and then there's the stress of the holidays around the corner. It just seems like this time of year it's hard to catch a break. So take a deep breath and stop by Burrito Amigos. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Burrito Amigos is that happy little corner of your day where the meal is good and tasty and the people make you feel special. For breakfast, stop by the drive-thru on West 6th in Eugene or on 42nd Street in Springfield. Not only can you get a great bacon, sausage, machaca, or chorizo burrito, but you can also get a hot espresso just the way you like it. To bookend the day, maybe you don't want to go home and deal with cooking, so grab the family and head to Burrito Amigos for a sit-down meal with burritos, tacos, nachos, tostadas, tamales, taco salad, enchiladas, tortas, and more. And you can get what you want with real cod, black Angus beef, chicken, pork, even tofu. And of course, Burrito Amigos will give you a little happiness in the middle of the day with a great lunch. Don't let the dark, cold stress of the season get you down. Get a Burrito Amigos smile. Burrito Amigos in Eugene and Springfield.
Ramjack has your foundation solution. Ramjack can fix that. CCB 146906.
This season, your high school team's best defense isn't on the field, it's on the sideline. As medical professionals, athletic trainers can make a critical difference at the moment an injury happens. They're also essential during treatment and recovery. But maybe most importantly, research shows athletic trainers may help athletes avoid injuries in the first place. Learn how the NFL can help get an athletic trainer on your team at athletictrainergrant.com. That's athletictrainergrant.com.
Who's going to win? It's the Ducks versus the Beavers. Choose your side today and support child literacy. The Smart Reading Program, in cooperation with both universities, has launched a literacy challenge. Go to crowdrise.com/Beavers versus Ducks and provide a donation. One donor from the winning team will be chosen to select an elementary school to host a school-wide reading assembly featuring their mascot. The winner will be announced at the big game. Please visit crowdrise.com/Beavers vs Ducks and offer your help. And regardless of the score on the field, it's the children who will win.
Today's top stories. In depth. This is the Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Well, more calls for a senior law professor to resign from her position at the University of Oregon after wearing blackface for Halloween. Professor Nancy Schertz has been placed on administrative leave pending the completion of a civil rights investigation. Witnesses who saw the professor say she was dressed as Black Man in a White Coat, a doctor's reflections on race in medicine, which is a recent autobiography by Dr. Damon Tweedy recounting the racism that he encountered in medical school. In a letter sent to Schertz and signed by 23 of her colleagues, they say in part, if these allegations are true and you did in fact wear blackface to a Halloween party, you need to resign. It doesn't matter what your intentions were. It doesn't matter if it was protected by the First Amendment. We are angry that you would alienate our students, staff, and faculty of color. We are angry that you would destroy what others have worked hard to build. Your actions implicate all of us and our community. If you care about students, you will resign. If you care about our ability to educate future lawyers, you will resign. Schertz, for her part, has apologized for the costume, saying, I, of all people, would not want to offend. What is interesting to note is that the Oregonian is reporting this morning that in 1982, or that she's taught at the university since 1982, and once served as the chair of the law school's diversity committee. Fire officials say 2 workers have been injured trying to put out a fire at a plywood mill in Springfield. The workers were hospitalized after the fire broke out at Pacific States Plywood Thursday night. Eugene Springfield Fire Department Chief Jeff Krosner says that they suffered injuries, but they weren't life-threatening. Krosner says employees at the mill had used protection lines to try and control the flames before firefighters arrived. Fire crews were able to bring the blaze under control within about an hour. The cause of the fire still under investigation. The Springfield mill was also the site of a fire in 2013 that caused heavy water damage but no injuries. A 36-year-old Eugene man is a little worse for wear after befriending a woman and her daughter last month and trusting them a wee bit too much. The man met 61-year-old Mary Ellen Lau and her adult daughter on October 27th when he saw the two women standing in the rain at Richard's Deli. He offered them a ride. After befriending them, the man spent the next couple of days with Lau. On October 30th, he drove to Richard's Deli on West 11th and went inside while Lau waited inside the vehicle's passenger seat. Bad move. When the man came out, the car was gone. Then this Tuesday, the man was at the Washington Jefferson Park. That's when he saw his Lexus was parked by the bathrooms.
He called police at that point after he had tried to contact her, but then she put the vehicle into reverse, and he went in front of the vehicle to try and stop her, and he had to jump onto the vehicle as she was moving it to get out of the way of being hit.
Melina McLaughlin of the Eugene Police Department says officers found the vehicle a short time later with the help of a bystander. Lau was arrested on charges of reckless endangering and unauthorized use of a vehicle. The victim's car was returned to him. There is a marijuana recall affecting dispensaries in Eugene, Salem, and North Bend. Brad Ford reports the marijuana has pesticides that are verboten.
All batches of marijuana grown and sold in Oregon are tested for a list of contaminants. When a test comes back positive, that marijuana is supposed to be destroyed.
We don't know why these products were transferred to the dispensaries. We are investigating it.
Jonathan Modi with Oregon Health says they have a list of pesticides that growers are allowed to use, and when a batch comes back as contaminated, it needs to stay out of the stores.
They risk losing their registration. There could be civil penalties.
The stores involved are Stoney's in North Bend, Greenway Medicinal in Salem, and Flower of Life in Eugene. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
A mushroom picker who disappeared near Sweet Home has been found alive and unhurt. Lynn County Sheriff Bruce Riley says 58-year-old Oliver Mercer of Lebanon flagged down a fishing boat Thursday morning and got a ride to a dock where he was reunited with friends. Mercer told searchers he walked for miles after getting turned around Monday while picking mushrooms. Mercer says he couldn't start any fires, but that was okay because the nights never got that cold. Lane Transit District is looking to hire about a dozen public safety transit officers. LTD's Edward McGlone says the transit officers ride on LTD buses and patrol property to control crime and prevent violations of district ordinances and regs.
No, LTD's public safety officers are all unarmed, and they all wear body cameras as well.
LTD is looking to hire a public safety intelligence analyst, a public safety lieutenant, and a public safety sergeant. An occupier of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge, who took a plea deal before 7 co-defendants were acquitted of the same charge, says his lawyer is talking with prosecutors about withdrawing his guilty plea. John Ritzheimer said that attorneys for several others who agreed to plea bargains are having similar discussions. This comes after a federal jury's acquittal last week of key figures in the armed standoff over federal land policy last winter. Legal experts say prosecutors are likely considering how to proceed. Law professor Tung Yin of Lewis and Clark Law School in Portland says those who went to trial to beat the odds by winning, but for those who opted for plea deals, the acquittals do not justify a request for withdrawal of a guilty plea. A Southwest Oregon lumber mill that once employed more than 200 workers is auctioning off its assets. Rough and Ready Lumber began a liquidation auction 9 months after shutting down operations. The auction is going to run through the rest of this week, and proceeds are going to Rough and Ready's Timberland program. Rough and Ready Lumber co-owner Jennifer Philippi says she and her husband had hoped somebody would purchase the mill and restart operations. She says there was someone interested in buying, but they ultimately dropped out a few weeks ago. The mill previously shut down for a year in 2013, but reopened with $5 million in upgrades. 11 Oregon counties have filed suit against Mortgage Electronic Registration Systems, MERS, which registers mortgage loan sales. Brad Ford says the lawsuit accuses the company of withholding fees.
11 counties, including Coos, Crook, Josephine, and Marion, are among those seeking $50 million to recoup over 20 years of unpaid recording fees. Tom DeMore with DeMore Law Group says the banking industry set up the registry in 1995 to quickly buy and sell mortgages without the hassle and cost of recording each transaction.
They would list MERS as the beneficiary or the lender under the deed of trust or the mortgage, but Oregon
American law has made clear that it's illegal.
Similar suits have been filed in several other states, and last year MERS settled a suit with Multnomah County for $9 million.
Nonetheless, in violation of these cases, MERS continues to do that.
The process can lead to inaccurate property ownership records. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Well, the Lane County Assessor's Office is participating in a new state initiative designed to help homeowners who fall behind on their property taxes.
The OSHA program is being phased in Oregon to help property tax owners who are delinquent in their property taxes avoid foreclosure.
Lane County Assessor Mike Cowles, who apparently is unable to pick up his actual phone receiver, says the Oregon Homeownership Stabilization Initiative was created to administer United States Treasury hardest-hit funds. They provide foreclosure prevention and community housing stabilization through direct assistance to homeowners. For eligibility requirements, you need to head to OregonHomeownerHelp.org. The program starts on November 16th. Well, the FBI has a suspect in custody accused of sex trafficking, but the search is still on for his accomplice. Agents say they arrested Aaron Barnes at a motel in Lincoln, Nebraska earlier this week. He's accused of driving a minor from Portland to Seattle as part of a trafficking operation in October. He's currently pending transfer back to the District of Oregon. Agents are still looking for his alleged accomplice, 28-year-old Camus Kernal. Agents say they believe he may be in Seattle or even in Portland. The FBI said he should be considered armed and dangerous, and if you have any information, you're asked to contact the FBI. Well, more than half of Americans have at least one chronic disease, mental illness, or problem with drugs or alcohol, according to a new Emory University study. It says that people with 2 or more chronic health issues need more access to care and better coordination among their health care providers. The researchers looked at chronic conditions like asthma, cirrhosis, diabetes, heart disease, hepatitis, high blood pressure, HIV, AIDS, lung cancer, pancreatitis, and stroke. They found that 40% had at least one chronic medical problem. About 18% had been diagnosed with a mental illness in the past year, while another 9% abused drugs or alcohol. The study also looked at poverty rates in relation to chronic medical problems. Overall, about 15% were living in poverty, according to investigators. Among those with chronic conditions, many had less than a high school education, they were unemployed, and they were receiving government aid and had no health insurance. At 6:20, this look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones on KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
NFL last night, the Atlanta Falcons went high on offense and light on defense with quarterback Matt Ryan completing 25 of 34, 344 yards, 4 touchdowns. In the end, Falcons way too much for the Buccaneers, 43-28. College football, Colorado Rockies are guaranteed a winning season. What's it like? First one since 2005 as they handed the Bruins, as in UCLA, their 4th straight loss, 2010 the final. Also, Oklahoma beat Iowa State by 10, 34-24. NBA, Oklahoma City Thunder would have liked nothing else than to roll into Oaktown and take down their former MVP and the Warriors, but that didn't happen. Kevin Durant poured in a game-high 39. Warriors blow out the Thunder 122-96. Oregon, by the way, takes on USC tomorrow. There, USC 5-3, Oregon 3-5. OSU will be at Stanford. And former Duck Josh Huff, now a former Eagles player, as he was let go, even after he practiced with the team after his arrest. Coach Doug Peterson had said he was going to play this coming Sunday. That's not going to happen. What probably did him in, according to sources, the statement, what professional athlete doesn't carry a gun? He'd been pulled over for speeding and had a gun and trace amounts of marijuana in his car. High school playoffs. Got to talk about a couple of these. 6A, Sheldon will host South Salem tonight. Jesuit scores 1 point after a forfeit to South Eugene. 5A, Thurston will travel to Wilsonville. 4A, Cottage Grove hosts North Valley. Volleyball, Glencoe will be at South Eugene today at 3:15. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle. Try one of the Max Pro protein powder flavors like s'mores, orange, or chocolate. Perhaps all mixed together. Max Muscle on Franklin across from Market of Choice. News Time 722.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. I'm tracking patchy dense fog off and on out there. I expect visibilities in some locations down to about 1/4 of a mile, but it's not a non-stop fog bank. You'll go through it, then you'll go into a clearing, then you'll hit another one off and on during your commute. Otherwise, we've got partly cloudy skies. Temps right now are in the low to upper 40s. Light winds out of the northeast at 5 to 10. This afternoon, high pressure will dominate across the region. Once the fog burns off by 11 a.m., mostly sunny skies. The winds will shift to the south at 5 to 10 with gusts up to 15, and we will see highs in the mid to upper 60s, 65 here in town. Make sure you take advantage of the sunshine this afternoon as we've got a slow-moving cold front set to move in for your Saturday, bringing moderate to heavy showers, and it's going to take the front so long to get past us. I expect the rain to be fairly steady throughout the day and into the evening Saturday, but it'll start to taper off Saturday night as the cold front pulls away into the Cascades. We will see some clouds on Sunday, but it looks to be fairly dry. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day. You can enjoy the sunshine this afternoon.
Mid-Lane Truck and Equipment Repair would like to remind you that weather is changing and winter is right around the corner. Getting your vehicle ready requires more than just installing snow tires. Your antifreeze protection needs to be checked, belts and hoses inspected and replaced if needed, and windshield wipers replaced for clear vision ahead. Stop by Mid-Lane Truck and Equipment Repair today to schedule an appointment, and don't let old man winter leave you out in the cold. Call 541-345-7570 or visit midlanetruckequiprepair.com.
You've heard me talk about glutamine and how important it is for your body. It repairs every cell in the human body, giving you overall optimal health. It's odorless, tasteless, and flavorless. Stop by, give it a try. You won't taste a thing. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard in Eugene.
Does your home or business have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Discover why Ramjack is the only foundation company you'll ever need. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Choose Ramjack. CCB 146906.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, sponsored by Eugene's #1 electrical contractor, Builders Electric. One of our neighbors recently got 2 new puppies, and they are really wonderful dogs. But more importantly, they also got a new bumper sticker for their car that says, "Wag more, bark less." When I first saw it, I couldn't help but think of all the various meanings for the sticker. Mostly, though, I was reminded of how all of our lives would be if we also followed that theme. We know how dogs feel when they wag their tails and also when they bark. And do you think the world might be a little better place if we all wagged a little more and barked a little less? This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
This Motivational Minute was brought to you by Builders Electric, providing honest, reliable, and positive contracting throughout the Willamette Valley since 1960. That's Builders Electric, CCB number 4296.
So think about the words he used in his motivational. Well, think of motivation. There's one. Inspirational, positive. A lot of words that you could throw into getting enough sleep as far as waking up and feeling motivated. Feeling like you're ready to attack the day, like you don't need 8 cups of coffee. How does that work? Maybe getting better sleep. And if you think, I already get great sleep, it'd always be better. And if you're sleeping on a slab of a mattress, maybe a little lumpy, maybe there's a little concave. You know, if you sleep in the same spot and you don't rotate your mattresses, sometimes there's a cavernous crater there. What would it be like to be a brand new mattress without that crater? You can kind of get a test of it and a taste of it at Sleep Train with the test lane. The mattress price war is going on right now. We're talking about great deals, and we won't go through every single detail, but how about 4 years interest-free financing on Tempur-Pedic? No money down. Subject to credit approval, but it can happen, and a great night's rest can happen as soon as today with the same-day delivery. And we could talk ad nauseum about the same-day delivery because that is one of the benefits. Not having to transport that old thing in and out and the new thing in and out, huge. Go to Sleep Train today.
You'll find them in Corvallis, Albany, Eugene, and Springfield, and tell them Bill and Rob from the Wake Up Call sent you.
We'll do it live. The Wake Up Call with Holloway and London.
We'll do it live.
1120 KPNW.
This is boring as burnt toast.
727 News Radio 1120 KPNW. The hardest working man in show business is in studio. Mike Pungercar, you know him for, how many years have we had you on with Honor Flight?
About 4 years.
It seems like 5.
And it
seems like
you're
5
keeping
years.
Track.
Yeah.
That's another scary.
I had to think about it for a second, to tell you the truth.
Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be here this
We
morning.
don't even have time to make small talk because you have a schedule over there that is ridiculous. You got a lot of stuff going on to talk about.
Really, I've got, I guess, 2 different things to talk about. One is personal with myself and some speaking engagements I have coming up. The other one, though, what I'll start with is some more veterans-focused events that are coming up, which Honor Flight, the South Willamette Valley Honor Flight Hub, will be a part of. The first one that comes up this Sunday. We encourage people to come out to the Springfield Parade Route and witness the Lane County Veterans Day Parade. It'll be taking place in Springfield Sunday, the 6th. It starts, or the 5th, excuse me, the 5th. What is Sunday, the 5th, 6th? I can't keep track. 6th, thank you. But anyways, it starts at 1:30 in the afternoon, and there will be information in the papers about the parade route and stuff. But a gentleman, I'm going to give him credit. His name is Jim Hallstrom. He has a custom-designed 28-foot flatbed trailer, covered, that he goes around the state and participates in various parades for different events and has it decorated for floats for different events. He has donated it to the Honor Flight program this year, and we will have 18 World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam War veterans riding that float as guests in the Lane County Veterans Day Parade. That's this Sunday, the 6th. Coming up on the 10th, next week Thursday, at Crescent Park Senior Living Center out on Coburg Road in Eugene. If you're hungry for a great spaghetti dinner, they're putting on their 4th spaghetti dinner fundraiser for the South Willamette Valley Honor Flight Hub. I actually left the flyer at home on my desk, but I believe it starts at 5 or 5:30. I'll get you some information that you can put out if you want to do that later. But they have been great sponsors, and I want to say that probably 8 or 9 of the residents have now gone on their honor flights. They have quite a few World War II veterans that living in.
And you said that quite a sizable amount of money they raised last year.
I want to, as I recall, their last spaghetti dinner, they raised over $3,000 for us. That's a lot of spaghetti, but a lot of generous donations by people stopping by as well.
And how do people, is there advanced tickets that needs to be purchased, or can people just show up?
Right to the door and show up and ask to be seated, and like I say, they put on a great spread.
And if you want to give a little bit more, as in a
by all means, healthy tips are encouraged, because
all going to Honor Flight.
Yes, everything goes to the Honor Flight program. Wow. Veterans Day itself, of course, is a week from today. There is a new memorial, Veterans Memorial, being dedicated at Willamette Lane Park in Springfield, right across from Mackenzie Willamette Hospital. The dedication is going to be at 11:30 next Friday morning, Veterans Day. I'm sure there'll be more publicity in the paper coming up this coming week about that. But the Honor Flight program will be present at that dedication. We're going to be encouraging veterans who have gone on their honor flights to come down and join us for the dedication.
What time is it?
11:30.
11:30.
11:30, Veterans Day. There will be, I understand, some refreshments, some music, some guest speakers, and one of those guest speakers is yours truly. I've been asked to be part of the program and to make some comments about the Honor Flight program, and we will have a canopy covered area with a table and applications and flyers and information and volunteers there to answer questions about the Honor Flight program. And then on November 15th, kind of just wrapping up a long Veterans Day weekend, if you will, and on Tuesday the 15th, the Springfield Elks Club is going to be hosting a showing of Forgotten Heroes, an Honor Flight story at 7 o'clock in the evening on November 15th. Tickets, great price on tickets, free. We're just asking if people come in and they watch the documentary and learn about the Honor Flight program and witness what occurred on our May 2014 Honor Flight in this full-length documentary, that they consider making a donation to the program. Again, all the money that we raise at these events goes toward covering the costs of getting our veterans back to Washington, D.C. free of charge. For the folks not familiar with the Honor Flight program, It's a national program. Our South Willamette Valley Honor Flight Hub covers Lane, Lynn, Lincoln, and Benton counties. We started officially getting our charter in March of 2012. Made our first honor flight in October of 2012. And between that flight and the October 2016 flight, we've now transported 428 veterans from the four-county area back to D.C.
Wow!
So it's been a great program. We have a great organization with a lot of volunteers that have come forward. Most of them have gone on an honor flight with a family member or as a volunteer just to help a veteran, and then come back and say, "I've got to get involved in this program. What can I do to help?" And we try and put them to work and let them help and keep them active. So a lot of events coming up around Veterans Day, and I really want people to think about Veterans Day and what it means. For a lot of people, unfortunately, especially the younger generations, it's a day off of work, a day off of school, a long 3-day weekend, and they forget what Veterans Day is all about. And the fact that we've had so many millions of veterans serve our country, it came out of World War I with the armistice for World War I being signed on 11/11 at 11 a.m. in 1918. And I don't have the history of the holiday itself in front of me, but it started off as Armistice Day and then became eventually Veterans Day. Think about veterans. Look for a veteran on Veterans Day and thank them for their service, but don't just do it on Veterans Day. For our veterans, every day should be Veterans Day because of what they've done for our country. We have Memorial Day where we honor those who have given their life for our country. This is about our veterans that are living today, whether it's a World War II veteran, which are our oldest living veterans at this time in our country, right down to veterans who are serving now, in different places around the world, and doesn't have to be in the Mideast and combat zones. Veterans are veterans regardless of where they serve this country. It could be stateside here or maybe something exotic as Paris, France or someplace. They're serving our country, they're taking times out of their life, and they are protecting the freedoms that we enjoy. So take advantage of Veterans Day and thank a vet for their service. The other thing that I've got going on personally, which I appreciate you've had me on the show before talking about what got me into the Honor Flight program, which was the fact that my father was a World War II veteran, radio operator on a B-17, flew with the 8th Air Force, the 91st Bomb Group out of Bassingbourn, England, and like most World War II veterans, most veterans, especially our senior veterans, never talked about his experiences. Almost never. I knew he served as a radio operator. We watched an old TV series called 12 O'Clock High, and every once in a while in the combat footage that was spliced in, they'd show B-17s with a triangle A on the tail. And my dad would say, that was my group, the 91st Bomb Group, that was my group. And one time in high school, he took me up in the attic and said, "I want to show you some stuff," and opened up a box. He showed me his dog tags, his wings, his air medal, a lot of black and white pictures that were taken over in England while he was there. Pictures of B-17s that came back to base just shot to pieces. You wonder how they could stay in the air. That bird really earned its nickname as being the Flying Fortress. But he started sharing a couple of stories, and all of a sudden he just stopped talking. And I just remember seeing this kind of glassy, faraway look in his face, and he just put everything back on the box and stopped. That was it. I was about 15 at the time and wasn't old enough or mature enough to understand that he was dredging up memories that some of them weren't very pleasant, and he just stopped. When he was 79, I took him fishing back in Wisconsin, and driving home unsolicited, he just started, I remember when I enlisted in the Army Air Corps in 42, and for an hour solid he talked story after story, a few of which I remembered from when I was in high school. Most of it was all new. And I finally said, "Dad, you got to cut a tape of this stuff. Nobody in the family knows what you did back in World War II and what you did for 3 years, the time you spent away from home and everything, much less being in combat, 30 missions over Germany." So much to my delight, about 5 months later, a cassette tape showed up, my years in the Army Air Corps, 42 to 45. I was working full-time for the city of Eugene. I put the tape on a shelf in my office, and I'll get to it. Well, 2 years later, cancer took Dad. So it took a while, but I played that tape, and what a great gift to have to hear him talking directly to me. I transcribed the tape as I promised to get that story out to the family, but I had 100 questions I wanted to ask him, and it was too late. Well, when we cleaned out his attic after he passed away in preparation for the estate sale, I found an old cardboard suitcase, heavy wax cardboard with the leather straps. I should have kept it, probably an antique. But when I opened it up, I saw all these papers, and I started going through them, and they were papers from when Dad was in the service in World War II, including his discharge papers. I started finding some pictures, a picture of him with his crew when they got overseas under the nose of a B-17 called Peace or Bust. I opened up a candy tin that was in there, and inside that candy tin are his dog tags, his air medal, there was a piece of flak that ricocheted in the plane before it hit him, fortunately, or he'd have been killed. It was a treasure trove for me. And between that and what he left on the tape, my wife encouraged me to just start doing research and see what I could find. I went on the internet. The 91st Bomb Group has a website. I contacted them. Next thing I know, a gentleman from Illinois says, I'm kind of an historian. I've got microfiche records from World War II that I got from the 8th Air Force archives. I sent him my dad's serial numbers. Next thing I know, I get a list of 30 missions. Serial number of the B-17, pilot who flew the mission. I couldn't believe the information that was available. And I started what turned out to be a 12 or 13-month period where I traveled. I bought books. I bought videotapes. I studied. I was really trying to find out what was it like for these airmen that served in the 8th Air Force flying in unpressurized, unheated planes, 28,000 feet, 40 to 50 below zero, on oxygen, in combat. And the more I studied, the more I thought, I complain about being trapped in the middle seat on a 2-hour flight. Not anymore. But the thing that really happened to me during that period of travel and research is I started meeting other veterans during my travel. And some of them who had served at the same base as my dad. Didn't know him personally, but I was getting their stories. They were giving me pictures from their collections. And after, like I say, 12 or 13 months, my wife came in the office and said, you know, you got enough material in here, you could write a book. And that's what led to 2 years later, me releasing the book called The Promise Kept, with my dad's transcript and story interwoven through that, but 7 other veterans. And so I've become kind of a historian, if you will, especially on the air war over Europe, and I'll be doing presentations starting this Monday at 6 o'clock at the Cottage Grove Library on the air war over Europe, 1942 to 1945. I'll be doing that same presentation on November 14th at the Springfield Library. And I've done this before, and the people find it not only informative, but very, very interesting. It's a part of World War II's history that doesn't get a lot of publicity. The 91st Bomb Group is the same group that the Memphis Belle flew with. The 91st Bomb Group incurred over 50% of the casualties that the 8th Air Force incurred during World War II. They caught it really bad on a lot of missions. The thing that a lot of people aren't aware of is just the 8th Air Force flying out of Europe in that period of 42 to 45 lost more airmen than the Marine Corps lost in all of their battles of the Pacific. The period, 3-month to 4-month period, just prior to D-Day, it was critical for the Allies to clear the Luftwaffe from the air over the D-Day beaches. What was a bloodbath anyways would have been a lot worse if the Luftwaffe was strafing our troops and bombing the ships out in the channel. So the 8th Air Force was assigned targets, and this was all under General Eisenhower's edicts, to hit targets that forced the Luftwaffe to come up to defend them so that the American fighters could take on the Luftwaffe. And a lot of those bomber crews were literally sacrificed in order to clear the skies, and they lost over 10,000 airmen just in that 3 to 4 month period. So part of my goal in doing these presentations and in writing the book is to keep alive the memories and the stories of the men and women that served, particularly with the 8th Air Force. You know, we had the 12th and the 15th Air Force that started in North Africa, went to Sicily and worked their way up and had bases in Italy, and also flew into Germany, Romania, other targeted areas that the Nazis controlled. But the 8th Air Force is my focus because that's where my dad served.
Did you ever When your dad opened up in the car to you when you were in Wisconsin, did you ever ask him why it was when you were 15 he just took you up into the attic randomly and just started showing you stuff?
I didn't. I did not want to interrupt him. When he was talking, I mean, I just let him talk because it was like this is something he wanted to do. I don't know that he needed to do it, but he wanted to do it. He wanted me to know what he had done. And it was really a gift to me that he did that. I was so glad I took him on that fishing trip because it wouldn't have happened probably otherwise. We just had that opportunity at the right time together to have that experience. It wasn't until I was actually researching the book, listening to him on his tape, because I could tell he did not sit down and just cut that tape story after story after story. He would sit down, he would share one, maybe two stories, and he would stop. And there were a couple of stories he shared where I could hear the emotion in his voice, even 60-some years later, recalling the events. And that's when it dawned on me what had happened when I was in high school, that he was sharing memories that were just hard. On one of his missions, that fourth or fifth mission, it was early on, he's sitting in his radio compartment and in a B-17 that's over the wings right in the middle of the plane, and all he's got is a small window on his left and then the big plexiglass window over the top of that compartment that used to have a machine gun mounted in it. It wasn't in the model plane that my dad flew in. And he said he looked up just out to the left side wing, and there was a plane about 50 feet off their wing. They flew in tight formation to try and give them a protection against the German fighters. And the co-pilot on the plane sat in the cockpit on the left, or on the right, the pilot on the left. And he said the co-pilot in that B-17 just happened to be looking down at him, and he reached up and waved. The guy waved back to him. A radio transmission came in. He said he went down and make his recording, and he looked back up, and there was no plane there. And about that time, he heard the guys in the rear of the plane saying that the plane had taken a direct hit by flak. And he said he stood up and he looked back out over the wing behind him, and all he could see was this twirling mass of flame and metal and then a big explosion. They saw 2 parachutes come out, so 8 guys. And they don't know what happened to the 2 that got out of the plane. He said the 50 feet over, and that would have been their plane. And, you know, he did share that for 30 missions. He said anybody who tells you that they weren't afraid when they were in combat was crazy. He said, because fear was just there. He said, but you had a job to do, and you just concentrated on it, and you did it, because you didn't know when a German fighter or when a piece of flak or a burst of flak could take you out. I mean, it just happens that quick. So he just did his job.
My question to you, because I'm sure that there's somebody else maybe perhaps going through the same thing. If you had it to do over again to get some of those questions answered, what would you have done differently to kind of encourage and to kind of pull it out if you could?
I'd have listened to him as hard as I could, but I would have tried to get him to expand, if he was willing to. But also, I would not have tried to pull stuff out of him, because I've had the opportunity to talk to a lot of World War II veterans in the last 4.5 years with the Honor Flight program. And I've been very, very privileged that either in the living room of their homes or actually back in D.C. at some of the memorials to have some of the veterans open up and share their stories. And what I've learned is just to let them talk, because they may get to the point in their story where they're talking where they don't want to talk anymore, and that's where you let it go.
So you wouldn't advise anybody out there to ask about it, or to kind of start it themselves? If you have family members that are veterans, I wouldn't hesitate to say, I'm interested in knowing, what did you do? What did you experience? Give them the opportunity.
Yeah, if they don't want to talk about it, don't push it.
Right.
If they're willing to, get a tape recorder, or get your digital, whatever you record on, and get the stories down while there's still time.
Okay, real quick, if you can review where you're going to be with your talks.
November 7th, next Monday night, I'll be at the Cottage Grove Library, and November 14th, I'll be at the Springfield Library.
Mike, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me in.
Yeah, and Spaghetti coming up next week. $3,000 last year to raise some money this year and feed a bunch of people. 747, Cruise next.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. We are seeing jobs continue to gain at a steady pace. Payrolls climbed by 161,000. The unemployment rate ticking slightly lower to 4.9%. These figures are likely to keep the Federal Reserve on track to hike rates next month for the first time this year. Stocks are little changed in trading. U.S. prosecutors have taken aim at generic drug makers in a criminal investigation into suspected price fixing. According to people familiar with the matter, the probe involves more than a dozen companies. Some criminal charges could be filed by the end of the year. The Union for American Airlines Pilots wants to renegotiate at least part of its contract 2 years early in an effort to catch up to recent pay raises at rival carriers. That baseball used in the final out of the Cubs World Series victory could be worth more than $3 million. That's according to the head of an auction house that deals in sports memorabilia. Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo snuck the ball in his pocket at the end of the game. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Did you know slow internet can actually hold your business back? Say goodbye to slow downloads, slow backups, slow everything. Comcast Business offers blazing fast and reliable internet that's 10 times faster than slow internet from the phone company. Say hello to fast internet speeds up to 150 megabits per second. Plus, did you know that in addition to fast internet, you can also add TV and phone for your business for just an additional $34.90 a month? Comcast Business TV helps keep your employees informed. And you get full-featured phone service with unlimited local and long-distance calls. And did you know all this is only a phone call away? Call 800-501-6000. Comcast Business, built for business.
Offer ends 12/21/16. Restrictions apply. Limited to one voice line and private view TV for new customers. 2-year contract required. Requires Comcast Business Internet and an additional monthly charge. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast 150 megabits per second and 15 megabits per second DSL downloads.
Sitting down, reaching out, listening. There's not much of that in politics anymore. But that's what Arnie Roblin's always done. As co-speaker of the Oregon House, Arnie led a bipartisan coalition to close a $3.5 billion budget shortfall. In the state Senate, Arnie Roblin keeps bringing people together to increase education funding to $7.4 billion and support Project Independence so more seniors can get the home care they need. The Register Guard endorsed Arnie Roblin, saying he has an unmatched record of working with a broad range of people to better the lives of coastal residents. But what about Republican Dick Anderson? As Lincoln City Mayor, Anderson bullied his neighbors by trying to forcibly annex their houses. Dick Anderson opposed increasing the minimum wage, and Dick Anderson was against paid sick days for Oregon workers. The difference is clear: a bridge builder or a bully. Who do we want in Salem?
Paid for by friends of Arnie Roblin.
It's fall. That can mean football weather or a blazing heat wave, depending on what Mother Nature has in mind. Don't sweat Mother Nature's moodiness. Talk to the home comfort specialists at Beamer Heating and Sheet Metal for help. They have advanced heating and cooling systems from Lennox that can keep your home perfectly comfortable, no matter what's going on outside. And right now, Beamer Heating and Sheet Metal is offering up to a $1,600 rebate and 9.99% financing on a qualifying new Lennox system. That's up to a $1,600 rebate on an innovative, highly efficient heating and cooling system that can put you in control of your home comfort and your monthly utility bills. So seize the day. Call the experts at Beamer Heating and Sheet Metal right now at 541-688-5004. That's 541-688-5004. Or visit them online at beamerheating.com. License number 4483.
Real news. Not the fake stuff.
Britney Spears makes no apologies.
The morning wake-up call with Holloway in London on 1120 KPNW.
Hey, look who's here. He's the master of the outdoors. He's Paul Bunyan with Handwarmers. It's none other than John Cruz, host of Northwestern Outdoors and American Outdoor Radio. You can hear Northwestern Outdoors tomorrow morning, 6 to 7 o'clock on KPNW, and from 8 to 9 o'clock American Outdoors on Sundays. And look who's here. Here he is, Paul Bunyan with Handwarmers, John Cruz. Hi, John.
Good morning. Yes, my hands are toasty warm. Thank you so much.
Are they the electronic ones, or are they the little chemical ones that you break the thing and then kind of rub it together?
They're the old school chemical ones. Absolutely. The ones that we had when we were in 7th grade that never worked very well.
Right. Those are the best ones. All right. We need to get into it real quick here. Northwestern Outdoors, what do you got coming up tomorrow?
Elk calling with Dan Clore. He is the owner of Deep Timber Sounds in Starkey. Effective duck decoying with an Avery's Pro Staffer. And in celebration of us being back on the air in Harney County, Oregon, we're talking to Denny Thomas at B&B Sporting Goods about hunting in November in Harney County.
Nice. Here, elk. Here, elky, elk. That's how you call an elk, I hear.
Dan might disagree. But he's actually going to demonstrate elk calling on the radio. It's going to be awesome.
All right, cool. American Outdoors Radio, what do you got?
We talk about the election and how it can affect your Second Amendment rights. With Veterans Day in mind, we're going to talk to Ron Rabu. He's with an organization called Wounded Warrior Outdoors. They actually take soldiers out of Walter Reed Medical Center, and they take them on fishing and hunting trips all over North America.
All right. Anything else that's going to be on the show that we need to know about?
We're going to check in on the saltwater fishing scene off the California coast and tell you about a fast food chain that's rolling out, get this, venison sandwiches this month.
I think I know which one it is, but I'm not going to ruin it for you.
Well, you can. Go ahead. Tell me.
It's Arby's, isn't it?
It is Arby's. You did see that. Yes, they are rolling this out at 17 restaurants in mainly Midwestern and some Southeastern markets where deer hunting is very popular. So if you didn't bag a buck, you can just go to Arby's and order a venison sandwich at one of 17 restaurants this month.
Oh, yeah. What Arby's did for beef, they're doing for venison.
That's right.
What about stuff to do this weekend?
Well, I could send you deer hunting, elk hunting, or trout fishing, but I really want you to help the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, because I was scouring through all the stuff that they have, and they said in this one little blurb down in southwest Oregon, there have been unconfirmed reports of a mute swan in Coos County outside of Coquille near Johnson Mill Pond, also known as the Log Pond. If you see this bird, please take pictures and call your local ODFW office. Mute swans are considered an invasive species in Oregon. In other words, they want to kill this bird, and they want you to find it for them.
What is a mute swan?
So, a mute swan, I had to research this myself. Here in the Northwest, we have tundra swans, we have trumpeter swans. Mm-hmm. The mute swans are the ones that you probably grew up seeing in city parks. They're from Europe and Western Asia. They were brought over to the United States basically to adorn private property in parks in the late 1800s, and some of them have escaped, and they've established populations, and they basically are considered an invasive species. So some states, like Michigan, has declared war on the muted swan, and they have this brochure with a picture of it, and it looks dirty and mean, and it looks like it's a mugshot of a swan. And there's a 10-page pamphlet on how to deal with it, which essentially comes down to get a permit and put a bullet in its head.
Oh, nice.
Yes, fascinating. So the muted swan, it's called the muted swan because it doesn't make the calls that the tundra swan and the trumpeter swan does. As a matter of fact, it's generally known to get torqued off at humans when they get close by, especially in breeding season, and it will hiss at you and beat its wings.
Oh, hissing and beating its wings.
Yes.
All right. Sounds like it's a dangerous critter as well.
Dangerous bird. So just take pictures, don't get close, because the muted swan could get you. But Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, they want your help to find this muted swan so they can get rid of it before it becomes a threat to Oregonians.
All right. So, a killer is on the loose. John, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Take care.
All right. You have at it. John Cruz, Northwestern Outdoors, and America Outdoors Radio, heard this weekend on KPNW News Radio.
Logging company towns once flourished across our state. Now they're just a footnote in Oregon's timber history.
They blew a whistle for you to get up, blew a whistle for you to go to work, and blew a whistle for you to go home.
Monday on KVAL News at 5 and 11, Tom Adams travels to local logging towns that have been lost to history. What was everyday life like back then? And what remains of these once thriving communities? Don't miss Lost Logging Towns, Monday on KVAL News at 5 and 11.
The best coverage of Pac-12 football is on Inside the Pac. I'm Sky Muller. Join me along with Preston Highfield for all the excitement of Pac-12 football. From game-by-game scores and highlights, guest analysis, interviews with players and coaches, and previews of upcoming games. No other station in Western Oregon covers the Pac-12 better than KVAL. Wrap up your weekend of college football with Inside the Pac, only on KVAL.
It's time for Discount Windows Win-Win Sale, Lee.
I remember that one, Vic. Customers win by receiving 10% off our professional installation, and we win by keeping our install team busy all year long.
That's right, Lee. Folks, at Discount Windows, get 10% off your window installation booked through the end of January.
10% off our already competitive install prices. That really is a sweet deal.
Discount Windows carries energy-rated windows that may be eligible for a rebate from your utility company.
We're doing our part to help lower your monthly utility bills.
Don't miss Discount Windows Win-Win Sale.
Hurry win!
Don't miss Discount Windows Win-Win Sale. Highway 99, Junction City. Open 7 days a week. Only Flyjet windows are eligible for 10% off installation. See store for details.
Discount Windows. We do windows,
doors,
and installation for less.
CCB 180018.
It never rains when the wake-up call takes to the air. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are slightly higher after data showed steady progress in the labor market, boosting speculation interest rates will rise by year-end. Here are the numbers. Payrolls climbing by 161,000 last month. The jobless rate fell to 4.9%, while wages rose from a year earlier by the most since 2009. Embattled airbag maker Takata said it wants to avoid bankruptcy globally because a court-led restructuring could disrupt the supply of parts to automakers. Starbucks posted earnings that beat estimates. Recent additions of digital ordering and a new loyalty program boosted sales. Meantime, Kraft Heinz came in ahead of expectations as cost-cutting helped boost margins. Prisoners. That's the term for those stuck in a job they hate but can't seem to leave. That's according to an Aon Hewitt survey. It seems about 8% of the global workforce have no interest in their jobs and no motivation to quit them. Aon Hewitt found that many are overpaid, and that's why they don't want to look. Courtney Dunham of Bloomberg Radio.
Fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW Eugene Springfield.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. The big party's starting in Chicago.
Let's go, Cubs!
A World Series victory celebration. The Cubs parade is just starting. Fox's Jeff Manasso is live along the parade route.
Dave, buildings here in the Loop have been lit up for a week, and now the river is also blue with the parade of the century here in Chicago beginning right now at Wrigley Field. It'll come from Wrigley to right here where we are along Michigan Avenue, where Cubs fans line the sidewalk several people deep, and as far as the eye can see, all the way to Grant Park, where hundreds of thousands of Cubs fans, likely more, will rally with the World Series championship trophy and in what Mayor Rahm Emanuel calls a celebration 108 years in the making. Dave?
Jeff, the FBI and New York police are assessing the credibility of information that al-Qaeda might try to launch a terror attack on the eve of Election Day. New York, Texas, and Virginia listed as possible potential targets. 3 American troops have come under attack in Jordan. Fox's Jessica Gala heard details of what happened live from our Middle East Bureau.
Dave, Fox News has confirmed 1 American service member has been killed and 2 others critically wounded after an exchange of fire at the entrance to an airbase in the southern part of Jordan. A Jordanian officer was also wounded. The shots were fired as a car carrying the trainers was trying to enter the gates of the Al Jafar airbase. The service members have been medevaced to a hospital in Amman. Dave.
Jessica, Donald Trump is calling the jobs report out today disastrous just before the election, showing less than expected new hiring and less than in September.
161,000 new jobs in October. The unemployment rate did tick back down to 4.9% from 5% in September. Previous jobs numbers for August and September were revised up by a total of 44,000.
Fox Business Network's Peter Barnes. The White House has a much more upbeat assessment, saying this is important. Average hourly earnings for private employees rose nearly 3% last year, the fastest increase in the recovery from the recession. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This tip of the week brought to you by Neurospine Institute.
You probably don't think about your neck much until it hurts. With stresses such as poor posture, tension, muscle strain, or injuries from accidents or sports, it's no wonder your neck is at risk for pain and injury. The physicians at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the cause of your neck problem through a physical exam and diagnostic tests. Then, they'll determine the best course of treatment for you through improved self-care, physical therapy and exercise, medication, or surgery.
Are you living with chronic pain? The specialists at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the problem and develop a personalized treatment plan to address your symptoms. Their comprehensive services include clinical and surgical procedures, sports medicine, physical therapy, medical imaging, and pain management. Neurospine Institute's medical professionals will work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure that you receive the best care and treatment. They serve all of Western Oregon with 2 locations, the main campus in Eugene and their Roseburg clinic. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
Well, just 4 days before the election, Donald Trump will be campaigning in some of the same states as Hillary Clinton, Pennsylvania and Ohio. Trump next hour will have a rally also in New Hampshire. Clinton will also be hitting Michigan. Polls in a lot of these states are showing the race very, very close. A South Carolina man is due in court this afternoon after a missing woman was found alive, locked up in a metal storage container. Fox's Tanya J. Powers is on the case live.
Todd Colehep, who is reportedly a convicted kidnapper and sex offender, was arrested in the disappearance of Caleb Brown. Spartanburg County Sheriff Chuck Wright says Brown was chained up like a dog.
She told us that she'd been locked in that container for 2 months. It's just only by God's grace that she's alive, if you'll know the absolute truth.
Brown and her boyfriend, Charlie Carver, disappeared in late August. She had worked for Colehep, who is a real estate agent. Now, Carver's whereabouts are still not known, but local officials say there may be as many as 4 bodies on that property, Dave.
Tanya, an attack at a senior center in Florida.
It came down from the trees.
It's in our activity room, and it's jumping on people and biting them and scratching them.
A squirrel inside Sterling Court Gracious Retirement Living in Deltona, Florida, running around attacking people after latching onto a woman in the parking lot who then ran inside. The caller tells the 911 dispatcher they need help, with people bleeding, most eventually getting away during the call.
There's another person in there. The squirrel has been tossed outside.
No word if he or she is in custody or if there are plans to try catching the squirrel. 2 residents and a staff member were treated for bites. Chris Foster, Fox News.
Well, after that jobs report came out on Wall Street, the market's been up and down. At the moment, the Dow is up 33 points. The S&P's gaining 7. The Nasdaq is ahead by 19. The price of oil is down a little this morning, but it is still hovering right around $44 a barrel. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
Hey, good morning to you. Happy Friday. 1120 KPNW live and local from the Widmer Brothers Studios here at the Bicoastal Radio Complex. Wake Up Call reporting for hour number 3. Final 55 minutes of the week at 8:05. Some fog maybe still out there till 11 o'clock is when it's supposedly going to be burned off to a little bit of cloud cover and eventual sun. Highs kissing 70, partly cloudy, and 50 overnight. Toys for Tots, respectively. Tomorrow, going to be at the Springfield, they call it Neighborhood Market, Walmart on Harlow at Delta, and then West 11th from 2 o'clock on, 2 to 8. You can come by and help out, maybe perhaps make you feel all good inside. Hey, we got some tickets to give out. We got tickets for Alice, which is Radio Redux, tonight and Sunday, 7:30 tonight, 2 o'clock, matinee going on at the Holt Center. If you would like to go, about a little know the